Normally we've been doing testimonies Sunday morning, but we have a missionary that's coming to speak to us, so she's going to give us some a testimony about what she's doing. This is Tiffany Garrison, is that right? Tiffany Garrison. She's with Patrick Stint. Is that how you say it? Patrick Stint. They're in Japan, ministering in Japan. So if you guys could give her a very warm welcome this morning.
Thanks, guys. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, well, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me. And yeah, just a little bit about me. So I actually don't really have too much on the slide, so you might be seeing that for a good while. But it's a nice reminder. But yeah, so I am actually originally from Pennsylvania. I moved to Bloomington, Minnesota about 10 years ago to go to a missions college. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of it. It's very small. It's called Bethany Global University. So if you know any mission-minded people who want to study, feel free to tell them to go there. But yeah, so I graduated in 2019, and then I stuck around at campus to work on in the academics department for about 5 other years. Recently was laid off last year, but now I'm in transition to be heading to Japan with Patrick and his family in Osaka, hopefully in the spring. So original date was January, but still raising support, so all in God's timing. But yeah, but what I want to do this morning, since I haven't really been to Japan yet, I don't have all these awesome, fun stories to share with you of all what the Lord is doing, but He is doing awesome things that I trust. And it's fun to hear from Patrick at least, but he's at the other location today. But I really just want to kind of share my heart, share a little bit of my story, what got me into missions, and kind of along the journey, just struggling with, we all have imperfections that we're all dealing with. And so hopefully it's an encouragement to you and to see what the Lord wants to speak to you this morning. But let me go ahead and just pray first. God, thank you for this morning, and thank you for this opportunity to share. And I just pray that you use this time to glorify yourself and encourage us. Let us hear what you want us to hear. And yeah, I just thank you in Jesus' name. Well, God has a mission, and each of us has a position in it. And my question to you is, do you know your position? Maybe, that could be locally or globally. Obviously, I know my position is going overseas as a goer, but there's lots of different ways to get involved. And I trust you guys are very, you seem like you guys love the Lord and everything, so it's very exciting to see that. But yeah, my question is, do you know your position in God's mission? Or maybe a better question would be, is there anything holding you back from stepping into it? Or maybe to doing it confidently. But a little bit of my testimony. So I'm a dreamer. Any other dreamers out there? Yeah, woo! So you kind of will understand my story a little bit. But even just as a little girl, I always, I wanted to be famous. I always wanted to do all these big things. I didn't come from a strong Christian family, so a lot of my dreams were for selfish reasons, let's put my name in the lights. But my mom at least got us involved with some vacation Bible schools, so I was able to get, the basic gospel as a little kid, and that was actually very powerful, and I'm very thankful for that because the Lord, was speaking through me as a kid. I didn't know it at the time, but He kept nudging me to go to church. And, as a kid, I'm like, but I want to sleep in. I don't want to go to church. But eventually, when I got into middle school, I was just having deeper questions, wondering, is there actually more to this Christian faith life? What does that actually mean? I actually thought everybody was a Christian, and I thought, people who aren't Christians choose to be it. I didn't know that there were people who've never even heard the gospel before. And so, what really started my journey really was I went to a youth conference event in high school with my youth group. And that's really what changed everything for me. One, just being in an arena full of people worshiping the Lord. That was just in itself awesome because, first time I ever experienced the Lord's presence so deeply, and I was just like, okay, never had this before. This is awesome. And but what opened my eyes more was just seeing so many people around me, teenagers my age, just being broken before the Lord, and then I was being broken for them. I'm I'm crying because I just I'm being moved by the Lord, and everything is just really awesome. And that's when I realized that there are people around me that are hurting and don't know the Lord. And so that got me to start thinking, to get more involved with my school and my church and my family, because they don't really know the Lord either. But in that event, I also, because again, I'm a dreamer. I have I'm very purpose driven. This is the thing that I'm running hardcore after. But they were saying how the Lord has a purpose for you and He has a plan for your life. And knowing that I could seek Him and know that plan and walk that out, that was just very exciting for me. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome. And similarly, that was where I first experienced the Lord's love, and I just never experienced His love so strongly before. And so I was just having a moment with the Lord during a worship time, and that's where I fully committed my life to Christ. I said, Lord, I don't want anything else. I just want more of your love. I want to know who you are. I want to walk on my purpose and help others do the same. And so, naturally, I'm on fire. I just gave my life to Christ. I go home super on fire, wanted everyone to come with me, wanted everybody to just know their purpose. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. The Lord loves you. I'm like, yeah, I know. And then later on, moving forward a couple years, I learned what a missionary was. I started learning that, people around the world in some countries never even met a Christian. And so they never even had an opportunity to walk out their purpose and fall in love with the Lord. And when I found out that people like these missionaries, they can make that as a living, they can make that a career, they just go and that's what they do. And I remember hearing that for the first time, and I was like, but isn't that what we're supposed to do as Christians, tell people about Christ? And then I was like, wait, you can make that a thing? You can get paid to do that, but, you don't really actually get paid because you had to raise support, but, same thing. But yeah, my heart was breaking for that, and just because I can't imagine going through life without even knowing that Christ even exists. And so, yes. And then later in high school, that desire to be missionary just kept getting overwhelming that I didn't know what to do with it. So that's where I fully surrendered my dreams, and I'm also a planner. So I had, my college plans and everything planned out. And so I just surrendered to the Lord, and I said, all right, Lord, if you want me to be a missionary, I would do that. I don't know what that looks like, but here I am. And so I just took a step of faith, went to a discipleship school. But again, so I'm a dreamer, but I'm also a perfectionist. And so any other perfectionists out there? No, just me. I'm the only perfectionist. Somebody else is a perfectionist here. Raise your hand so I don't have to feel alone. Okay, well. Well, yeah, so I'm a perfectionist dreamer, and so I started to just form this tightrope mentality with God's will. I put a lot of pressure on myself because I'm like 18, you know, I've been following the Lord for like 3 years at that point. And so I just put a lot of pressure on myself. I'm like, okay, what is God's will? Like, what is his plan for my life? I have to find it. I don't want to fall off of it. And so I was just like stressing myself out. And so I have all these dreams and visions and plans. And I'm like, okay, like I don't want to commit to something that I shouldn't be committing to. And so I was just getting very distracted with all that, having a lot of focus on myself, started having more, worrying more about like my, relying on myself to hear from the Lord versus trusting in that he will speak to me, even if I'm being complicated, not hearing correctly. And that ended up leading into a situation where, I'm learning to hear the voice of God. And so I believed I heard something and I shared it and it kind of backfired on me. And so that created a lot of fear and doubt. And, I'm like, oh, am I even hearing from the Lord? I don't know. Like, did I mess something up? And so I thought like I fell off that tightrope a little bit. That led into a season of like depression, anxiety, and suicide. I lost so much focus off of the Lord and his plan and my purpose and his mission. And so I just lost focus really. But I actually like thought I lost my purpose at that time. But can any of you relate to any of that? Especially, yes, thank you. Or even, you're like, this is what the Lord says. And then it's like, well, maybe a little bit. But yes. Or even like, are any of you overthinkers at all? Maybe, yes, overthinking's fun. Or like doubters, any doubters? All right, thank you. So our worries can make us lose track of our position in God's mission. But here's the good news, we're not alone. As you know, the Bible is full of people who felt the same way. God likes to use people who don't have it all together. That's where he gets all the glory, and it's a nice humbling way for us to keep us humble. Like, okay, I don't have it all figured out. God, you get the glory. That's good enough for me. But a couple examples, Moses, he doubted. He said, what if they don't believe me? Gideon thought he was the weakest. Jeremiah thought he was too young. Maybe you guys think you might be too old or too young. And then Peter, I'm sure we're all pretty familiar with Peter. Had failures, denied Jesus 3 times, yet God still used him and wanted to use him. And so my encouragement is, a reminder that your struggle doesn't cancel your calling. That was a huge encouragement for me because I thought I messed it up, but the Lord was like, no, I still want to use you. Like, okay, you do it in your way because I can't do anything. And a reminder that it was, it's not about your strength. It wasn't about their strength. It wasn't about their confidence or their perfection. My thing is, I doubt my confidence. I'm not confident enough to do this. It wasn't about their confidence. It's about the confidence in the Lord. It's about God's mission, and when he sends, he equips. And so also the Great Commission isn't, go if you're perfect, or go if you got it all together, or go if you have experience and or experienced or an expert. He just says, go therefore and make disciples of all nations, and behold, I am with you. And I put this into ChatGPT just to see, if there are any nice little one-liners. And this one, I'm not going to take credit for. This one came from it, and it was just like, mic drop, like, that's good. But it said, it's not about your perfection, but his presence. And I was just like, That's good. I feel like ChatGPT preaching to me. But it's true. It's not about our perfection. It's always been about his presence. And the promise is not you're strong enough. The promise is he is with you. And with that, don't disqualify yourself from what God has already called you to. He wants to use you. He wants to use me. And God loves to use our imperfections. And with that, Romans 8:28, God uses all things for his purposes. That's like a life verse of mine, because especially in that season where I thought I messed up and started losing track of my focus and thinking that I lost my purpose and it's all my fault. The Lord used that so much, and I'm thankful for that. It was the worst season of my life, but I wouldn't change it, because he taught me so much, and I know that we all can relate to that. I'm sure you all had your own struggles, your own dark seasons, maybe seasons of silence or confusion, but the Lord teaches us patience and to trust him, and lots of different things. I learned a lot about mental health, and my whole perspective on that completely changed, because at that time I thought I was a very strong Christian. I'm like, I got things figured out. Why am I dealing with depression? And then, having that whole thing just completely changed me. But yet now I have like a huge heart for counseling and helping people and understanding, that people can struggle even if you're a super strong Christian or, not. And so anyway, side story. But the Lord can use everything in your life, which is amazing. And so going back to my testimony, in that season, as I was praying for the Lord and what his next steps were for me, that's where I got the nudge to go to Bethany to study. And during that time, I was just very confused with everything, but also confused about mission work, because also during that time, I ended up leaving that discipleship school early for financial reasons. And, a lot of people were saying, oh, if God called you to it, he'll provide. Yet he didn't provide for me. And so, that always put on like, oh, is it my fault? Did I do something? And so because of that, I was afraid maybe I'm not called to missions, because I don't know if he's going to provide like he didn't for the discipleship school. But I had a moment with the Lord, and he just like prompted Bethany in my mind. I'm like, okay, well, I'll try that. I don't know how I'm going to get funded, because part of the schooling is you had to go overseas, and that's where I got to serve in China. But yeah, so I took that step of faith. I went to Bethany, and when I took that step of faith, I didn't have all the plans figured out. I didn't have all the answers, because that's another thing. I'm a planner. I like to have everything figured out before I take a step and try it. I'm like, well, how do I know it's going to work out? And so I was like, okay, I'll go to Bethany. And then when I was there, the Lord slowly started showing things one step at a time, but again, nothing made sense. And so he was just showing me, he does want me to be there. He does want me to go to China, and just giving me confidence in that. And started to give me a passion for teaching and equipping and training others for missions. And so my vision started getting a little more clear, and just that heart for ministry started to develop more. And so when I went to China, actually things started like falling in line, and things started making sense. And I'm like, all right, this is good. Things are lining up. All right, I think I finally figured out. I think I figured out the one thing the Lord's calling me to. And so I got like distracted with that. And then I started making plans, and I got really confident. And I'm like, this is going to work out. So I got it all planned out. All right, Lord, let's do this. And then I came back to the States and graduated, and again had plans. So was on track to going back to China. And then the Lord met me in my room one day and just dropped Japan in my lap. And I'm like, oh, that's not what I was planning. Wait, what? I'm like, okay, sure. If you really want me to go to Japan, I will do that. I don't know what that looks like, because I had it all planned out for China for a long time up to now. But all right. And so surrendered my China dreams. Yet again, I surrendered all my dreams. And I was like, all right, Lord, if you really want me to go to Japan, I would do that. I don't know what that looks like. And so I just stepped out, took that step of faith, and told the missions organization that I'm going through just a change of plans. And they were just like, okay. I'm like, all right. That was about 4 years ago. And so I actually thought I was going to be overseas now. But again, the Lord's timing is perfect. But we actually were running into some issues with me going to Japan. And then I met Patrick Stitt. Do any of you know Patrick Stitt at all? Okay, so he's this really fun, confident, extroverted guy. His preaching is a million times way better than mine. But he's great. He has a family of 7. And actually, if you want to, little small, but kind of hard to see. But him and his family are the ones in the lower left, or I guess your lower right. And they've been in Osaka for, I think, like about 3 years now. They are doing micro church planting, just because that's kind of how church planting works in Japan. But they're doing awesome things. The picture next to that is the current team right now. So I'm actually super excited to join their team. The picture above is with him in one of his micro churches, and so they're right in the middle of unreached people groups. Japan is one of the few countries in the 1040 window. So the 1040 window has like the majority of the people groups that are unreached, never met a Christian, don't have a Bible in their language. And a lot of those countries, it's illegal to be a Christian and illegal to be a missionary. Japan, thankfully, is legal to be a Christian, and it's legal to be a missionary. So, and actually, the Japanese people is the second largest unreached people group. And so the fact that Japan is open for missions makes it the largest open country to missions. And so that's actually what got Patrick excited. And but Japan notoriously has been known to be a very challenging, difficult place to do missions and ministry in general. But he's been finding these micro churches as very effective. And so I'm really excited to go and learn from him and see what he's doing. I'm really excited to make relationships with people because I started to refocus to Japan, started to study more of the language and the culture and everything. And I never got involved in anime before. I never wanted to, but I decided to give it a try for educational purposes only. But then I accidentally started liking one of the shows, and then I watched another one, and then anyway, so now I do like a couple of anime shows, but it has been really fun. And so, I don't know, maybe I'll find more nerds in Japan, and I'll be able to make friends with them, and we can watch anime, and then I can tell them about Jesus, and then it'll be awesome. But yeah, so those are a couple of things that I'm looking forward to Japan. But what Patrick was sharing, there's just such a huge openness there, especially among the young people, and actually, a lot of people, the more I talk to people saying, oh, I'm going to Japan, they're like, oh, I know 2 other people going. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'll talk to another person like, oh, yeah, I know somebody else is going. And I'm like, all right, like, the Lord is doing something. And so, yeah, I'm really excited. I know it's still going to be difficult. Patrick says whenever he shares, it's difficult, and he shares his fun failure stories all the time. And so that's also encouraging, because he's super confident, yet he still struggles with, moving. But the Lord is moving, and so that's good. But yeah, so going back to the whole purpose of this message. So what is your position in God's mission, whether locally or globally? Do you know yours? A raise of hands if you're like, yes, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, we got a couple hands. Maybe the first question in the beginning, when I said, or do you know what's holding you back? Does anybody have that thing in their mind that's holding them back, whether it's insecurities, maybe it's, lack of clarity or doubt, fear, any of that? Maybe. All right. But yeah, so, as you're like thinking, but some just practical questions, who in your life needs to see Jesus through you, whether it's a family member, a friend, a coworker. Yeah, who do you know doesn't know the Lord? And, being open to the Lord pressing on you to go talk to them, to pray with them, to encourage them. The Lord loves to use you in that way. Is there like anything, any of you, and this isn't rhetorical, you can raise your hand. Is the Lord have been nudging you recently to do something, and you've just been hesitant, maybe waiting for the perfect timing, maybe until you figure things out? Anybody having this? All right, we got a couple of hands. Yeah, whether it's maybe starting a Bible study, or I know for me, I've been wanting to go and do more outreaches, but I'm so busy. I'm I can't be doing that right now. But trying to step out in that faith. But so for some of you, maybe some of you know that you have a heart for missions, and you have gone on mission trips, but you don't think you're gonna be doing that long term, and that's okay. Sometimes missions is just for a season. The Lord loves to use people to support missionaries. So if you can't go yourself, you can send me, because I'm ready to support. And yeah, so you can definitely get involved with a missionary, whether it's me or somebody else, supporting them financially or through prayer. And if you can't support me, pray for me. You can definitely partner with that for sure. And also just praying for the nations, yes, definitely pray for your friends and family and the city and everything, but don't forget to pray for the nations. Especially the persecuted church and other missionaries. And then sometimes, getting people excited, that's a huge role in God's mission too. Getting people excited for missions. Maybe you have a huge missions heart, and you just don't really know what to do with that. Get people excited, encourage them. Let them know that there are people around the world who never even met a Christian before. You might actually stir something in their heart and oh, well, I want to do that. I want to go. And yeah, help encourage people to get more involved with themselves. And yeah, but I mean, as you know, we all have individuals in our lives who you have the opportunity and the privilege to share Christ with, people that I can't reach, and then people, and vice versa, So we all have those people in our lives, and And something that the Lord has just been reminding me is that, well, because, as I've been sharing, a lot of my concerns have just been, perfectionism and everything like that. But the pressure is off. He's got this. He's sovereign. It's not up to me to make all the right steps and to do everything right, which, praise the Lord, I'm super thankful for that. We can all be encouraged with that. But he's just been encouraging my heart that, it's such a privilege to be part of what he's doing. And instead of, feeling like, oh, we have to be, or we should be sharing the gospel with people, we should be praying for people, but it's like, no, we get the privilege. It's such a joy to be able to encourage people and share Christ with people. And do you know that feeling, like maybe you guys are awesome at this, I don't know, but I know at least for me, I might get super stressed. If I feel like the Lord's telling me to go pray for somebody that I never even met, I'm like, oh, I don't know, we're at the store maybe, and I get super stressed, but then I just go and I pray for them or something, and then they're encouraged, and then I'm super encouraged because I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is to see what the Lord is doing, and so I just get so much joy from that, and I love that about the Lord. He just he does everything. He just invites us to take part in that, and then he blesses us for doing it. But I want you to be blessed. But yeah, so I just kind of want to close and just encourage you to, seek the Lord, rest in him. It's all about his presence. And I know sometimes we might get distracted with doing too much for him or doing things for him, but he wants to spend time with you. And so I just encourage you to just spend time with the Lord, and then when he nudges you, be obedient, because you get to have joy in taking part in his mission. Yeah, that was super short, but I know it's kind of hard to see. If you do want to stay connected with me, if you have a smartphone and want to scan those QR codes, I have a few things at a table in the back that I would love to connect and share more about it with you. But if you want to follow with me, the QR code to the left, that's just if you want to share your info with me, maybe share your email if you want to follow with newsletters, and then the other one is my giving link. So if you want to give, I'm actually 65% funded right now monthly, and so or if you know other people who are passionate about missions and you want to share that with them, please, I'd be thankful and honored with that. But yeah, I have those out front too. So if you want to just talk to me, I can definitely share that with you. But yeah, that's kind of all I have for you guys. But thank you for listening, and I hope it was at least encouraging. I hope you're able to take away something. But yeah, the Lord is definitely moving, and super excited for this opportunity.
Yeah, make sure you check out the stuff that she has on the back table. Take that information, and if nothing else, obviously we want to pray for her. We have a very strong heart for missions here, so we want to make sure that happens. But yeah, if you feel led to give to her, even a one-time gift or whatever, please get that information. You can also do it through Legacy Makers. If you want to do it through there, just go ahead and put a check, and then just in the memo part or on the giving envelope, just write Tiffany Garrison on there, and that'll get to her. So